I guess it's time to finish this truck up. Now for all the plastic and rubber parts, I'm just going to use some hardware store flat black. And for the overflow in the washer fluid tank, I really wanted them to have that aged yellowed look, being that this truck is, 30 years old. So to get that effect, I just painted the tanks in some white primer and just lightly mist it over them with some yellow paint. Now at first I had my doubts, being that this is just very simple, but it actually turned out very well and I'm happy with its results. Now for this truck, there are two different master cylinders. There's one with a plastic reservoir and one with a metal reservoir. And to keep things simple, I just took the liberty of this truck having the metal reservoir and I just painted the master cylinder and the reservoir in a steel color. Now, while this does indeed look brand new and very good, I didn't really think it fit the truck that well, so I dirtied it up with some of that Tamiya panel line accent stuff. Pay attention to these tabs when installing this. The tabs go towards the bottom. I missed the mark and this fell out and I had to reposition it. I was not paying attention and the tabs got installed towards the top. Being that I had originally glued the bumper in, I had a hard time getting this in place and an even harder time just trying to remove it, so I had to live with it being installed incorrectly. And it's kind of hard to tell, but while I had that flat black out, I also masked off and painted the shroud for the fan and over the radiator. Now this old glass had some battle wounds from being knocked around in that box for the past 30 years. So we are just going to polish it out. Now typically I do not like polishing glass because sometimes it leaves a hazy effect. But, well, we got nothing to lose here. Now it's getting better. It still took a few attempts and various grits, but in the end, we got it. And it is just as easy to install. It just falls into place. And I do apologize because I did that thing again where when I take my camera off, I somehow hit the record button. So when I pick it back up to start recording, I inadvertently turn it off. All you're missing here is just me gluing in the glass. You see me do it on every other kit I've done, so you're not missing much. Now those of you who have been paying attention, you may realize that I don't have the bed mounted anymore. Now I cannot install the interior tub with the bed mounted because the rear of the cab has to flex out just enough to clear the mounting tab thingy. And I had even cut the tab short so it's flush with the rear of the cab, and it would still not flex out enough with the bed in place. You know what they say about hindsight? The front of the tabs on the interior tub, they're visible. Anywho, here is a very out of sequence video of the process of how to put that bed in place. It was a bit tough for me because I had a few coats of black and quite a few coats of clear in place. So, fitment was very tight. I didn't even need to glue it. Now, this is another one of those things where fitment was made all the harder because I like to glue body parts on just to make painting easier. This time it was that front bumper that hung us up. I could get to here, but there's no way I could flex the chassis enough to get those pins in place. The very simple fix is just to cut them shorter, which I ended up having to do anyway because they were interfering with the fit of the rear bumper. So they are now cut flush, everything fits, and it has enough purchase and grab to hold the chassis in place. And I know what you're always thinking, yes, later, I do eventually paint those tabs on the interior tub. Now these side view mirrors, they were very fiddly, and I did not want to attempt trying to install them to a viewfinder, so you guys do not get to see that process. I apologize. I was not really happy with how all this turned out. The headlights were molded into the grille, and everything was molded in black. All I could really do was just paint them silver and then go over the side markers with my famous orange Sharpie. And from a distance it looks convincing, but up close, I don't like it. I also do not like how these decals turned out. I have been very sneaky trying to hide them the best I can, but as you guys can see, they didn't do too well. And that is this truck done. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot something. Now it is done. The rear tires kind of tuck up into the bed a little too much for my taste, but overall this was a great kit. It went together very well for being a 30-year-old AMT kit. Overall, I am impressed with this kit. We made just some very subtle changes that overall changed the appearance and made it a very stunning truck. Stay tuned, we'll be jumping right into another one very soon.